Hi, I'm Deborah Bringelson, the founder of the Quantum Results Formula. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the formula that people just like you in 17 countries are using to transform their lives. I'm going to reveal the exact formula that I used to rock Richard Branson. Before we met, he was a very hard no to doing business with my clients. But he didn't know about my secret sauce. He was so wowed that he ended up signing a deal worth more than $300 million in annual revenue. Imagine if you had that secret and you or your salespeople could make more in just one sale than in all of last year.
Thursday morning, I woke up and everything felt different. And all of a sudden, it's like, I got to call Deborah. I think I actually shifted Lifeline. A few hours later on Thursday, I made the biggest art sale of my life. I think I sold as much art in 2 hours as I did all of last year together.
What if you could break the false ceiling you have on your income and your life and make so much money that to celebrate you rent a private island in Belize with a private chef?
You're probably living smaller than you think. Nothing's not possible. Anything's possible, whether it's a business goal, whether it's a personal goal, whether it's renting a private island. One of the things that we were able to do is confidently more than double our prices. Do I want to go from making $10K a month to $100K a month to $1 million a month?
This stuff really works. Deborah just shifted me.
To learn how to do it yourself, stick around because today I'm going to reveal all of that and so much more. Who wants to have a good class today?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who wants to have a really great class today?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So one of the ways that we do that is, we can sit back and we can be passive and just sort of listen. And one of the things that I always tell my students and my clients is, if you're just taking it in, it could be nice information, but it's not really going to do much for your life. The way that we change our lives is by taking what we learned and doing something with it. Kind of play full on. I don't know what you know about me, but I have been teaching what I'm going to teach you today actively teaching it for about 12 years. But I really started using it about 40 years ago and developing my formula about 30 years ago. And what inspired me to do that, I started my career in politics and then transitioned into working with businesses. And one of the things that I discovered is that the more I use this formula when I was working with my clients, and when they started using it, their results, a lot of times growth results, they go kind of like this, but their results started to go like this. And you're going to hear about some of these specific clients as we talk this afternoon or this morning for those of you in Australia. And the reason I even got started with this is because my own life. When I was growing up, I grew up in a very traumatic, abusive home, a lot of violence in my home. And to be really honest, when I was in high school, I was like, you know what? If this is what life is, I don't want it. And I'm ready to be out of here. And it was because of that I was open to learning other things. And kind of as a lark, somebody took me to my first, I guess, guru would be the term to use at the time. And it wasn't, okay, Deborah's in trouble, she needs this. It was more of as a lark. But I really started learning some things that made a huge difference in my life. And that's what I want to today kind of share with you. So let me share my screen with you. Today, you're going to get a behind the scenes tour of my proven results formula. I'm going to reveal every single step to you. And it is a formula that my clients in 17 countries, more than 1,000 people have used to grow their income. Some of them by up to or even more than 3,000% in 6 months or less. Like Nadia, who made $298 million in 8 days. And what you don't know about her is it was the first money she had made in 20 months. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. And Siglinda, who within 36 hours, she made more money in one sale than she'd made the entire previous year. But I also want you to understand something. These results may not be typical. I don't know you, and I don't know what your abilities are. I don't know how much you're going to apply what I show you. And, a lot of people, they'll look at this and oh yeah, well, that's interesting. And then they'll go back to, and I hope this isn't you, but a lot of people will just go back to their daily lives of struggle and lack of money and health and happiness, maybe quite a bit of debt. And then some, and is this you? Some are going to realize this is the missing piece. This is what I need to know. So I'm going to go show you everything, but it's up to you to get the results. Okay. All right. So are you really sick and tired of the grind? You're working, it seems, just to pay bills. And even when you're out having fun, doing something that you should be enjoying, there's always just this little tinge of stress. Should you be working now? Should you have more money? Should you be spending what you are spending having this fun? And you believe lies like you've got to have your nose to the grindstone or no pain, no gain. Those things aren't true, but maybe at some level you believe them and you don't want to admit it even to yourself, but you're wondering, do I have what it takes? And your wallet, your bank accounts, your credit cards, they're all telling the same tale. You are blocking your money and success. And you're wondering, is this really all there is to life? Well, I'm going to tell you no, it's not, because that's not living, that's existing. So let me ask you this. What is this costing you? What is it costing your family? And what if we meet up a year from now and things haven't changed? Well, you know what? Your relationships are suffering, and money stress is one of the number one causes of divorce. 50% of people also say that it interferes with their sex life. So you and your family, you're paying the price for this. And what is it costing you in terms of your health and maybe even your life? Okay, so fast forward, it's 2 years from now. How much has it cost you? What if things haven't changed in those 2 years? Well, it's also costing you your health and maybe even your life. Did you know that according to the American Medical Association, 80% of health problems are caused by stress? And one of the biggest consistent stressors most people have in their lives is concerns about money or lack of money. And that stress makes you sick, quite literally. It increases your risk of cancer by 200%, heart attack by 100%, and premature death by 20%. All right, so what are some of the other costs? What is it costing you in terms of lost opportunity? What if in 3 years from now, we meet up again and things still haven't changed and maybe they've gotten a little bit worse? What are the opportunities that you could have seized that you passed on? The effects of all of this stress, all of this concern about money is magnified because you're losing out on those opportunities, which means you're losing even more money. Or let's say you are in line for a promotion and you don't pursue it, or you do get a promotion because, well, it's your turn, right? But you don't ask for the money that you really deserve. Or you make a sale, but you know what? You're worried about, oh, well, what if I don't make this sale? So you cut your prices dramatically. All of that is lost opportunity. According to Psychology Today, this stress and doubt about money creates even more doubt about yourself, and it causes you to play small. And ladies, I'm sorry to tell you, but the health effects and the life effects of stress, especially around money, are significantly higher for women than for men. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. It's not such a little secret. You've heard the phrase, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. One thing that I know for sure, if you do not change your approach, nothing in your life is going to change. And you may not believe me about all of this, but I promise you, the struggle for money is stealing your happiness and destroying your life. I have worked with large companies and individuals from all around the world, thousands of people, and I see this almost every single day. And I know that if you've got money concerns, it's stealing your happiness and truly destroying your life. This is one of those CEOs that I worked with. You know, he didn't really believe me. He thought a lot of what I'm going to share with you today was silly. And fortunately, he trusted me enough to say, okay, I don't really believe this, but I'm going to give it a try. Well, you know what happened with him a year later when he compared his first quarter sales from the year before we started working together? He had doubled his revenue, and it was up by more than $1 million from the previous year. And it was $500,000 over his best quarter ever. So if you want a life filled with wealth and success, you have to live by a different set of rules, period. That's it. And you know what? What I'm hoping you'll do is throw out all of the rules, because what you're going to see as I tell you how this formula gets implemented is the real way to make success with it is to just toss out all the rules. So what if there was a different way to make more money, to live debt-free, and maybe even have better sex? Okay, I'm not going to promise you that one, but I hear from so many people that tell me that all of this money scarcity and stress really affects their sex life. And when that pressure gets relieved, well, things start to happen that maybe are a little bit more fun. So what if I was to tell you there was a way to do all of that? There is. I've been fine-tuning my quantum results formula for about 30 years. I have tested every single thing. I've tested it on myself, always first. I tested on corporate clients, on entrepreneurs and individuals. I've even tested it on my own daughter and friends, family, anyone. I tested everywhere. You know, one CEO used this formula, and he was pre-revenue. He hadn't made any money yet. He was a startup. And within 5 weeks, he made his first money. It was $67 million because he was using this formula. So my goal for you, I always say, if there was one thing, you know, I work with people who are struggling and they're frustrated, they don't have the income that they want if they're working a job, or they don't have the revenue they want if they're running their company. And I always say, if there was one thing I could teach them, if I could teach you, it would be this: to understand your true power. You have the power to do this within you. And you have the power to do it if you uncover your number one block to money and success. We all have them. I promise you, I have had my share. Everyone I've ever worked with has been in some way blocking money and success. But when you uncover that and you clear your personal block, you then can claim your life of prosperity and success. And that's exactly what you deserve. And if anyone ever tells you you don't deserve it, if you ever tell yourself you don't deserve it, it's wrong, because you do. Okay, so what's the formula? All right, well, here, look how complicated this is. 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you manage that? There are 4 points of power, 3 steps, 2 questions, which lead you to the number one thing that you want in your life, and that's real results. And that's my mission, your results. It's how you get to the root of every problem. And I'm going to say 2 words that might cause you to be a little bit concerned, but give me a second and I'll explain why there is no reason to be concerned at all. And those 2 words are quantum physics.
This formula is based on my 40 years of experience using meta and quantum physics. But wait a minute, it's not a lot of math. I promise you that. You know, before you say, I'm not Einstein, trust me, I'm not Einstein either. And I don't do complicated math at all. I'm talking about practical quantum physics, how you actually use it. It's like electricity. Do you know how to make electricity? Of course you don't. Well, some of you might, but most people don't know how to make electricity, but they don't need to. All they need to understand is how to walk over to the wall and flip the switch, and that makes the lights turn on. It's the same with meta and quantum physics. You just need to know how to flip the switch, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, so for years, I have taught this formula. As I said, it's 4 points of power and 3 steps, 2 questions, which lead you to real results, and it sets your life on fire. There are 2 big things that are stopping you from having the money, success, and happiness and the life that you deserve. The first issue that's in your way is you've been lied to. And before you say, wait a minute, I'm smart enough, I always can tell when people are lying to me. Okay, well, maybe that's true right now. But a lot of those lies happened before you became quite so savvy. Do you know that until you're 7 years old, you know, could be 6, could be 8, but until you're 7 years old, your brain is actually a sponge. You don't have the ability to discern between reality and truth. You just don't. You just soak it all up and you take it as though it's true, especially if it's coming from someone that you trust. And look, I'm not saying that all of the people who've lied to you have done it intentionally. Most of them, they were lied to themselves and they believed it. And so they're just thinking that they're doing what they should do to help you have a great life, and they're passing those lies along. And the thing is, you're living those lies, and those lies are costing you big because they have you living in fear. You know, according to Psychology Today, most people, they live in fear, fear of success, fear of failure, and it makes us play small. And remember, we talked about those opportunities for growth, for more money. We're often saying no, or we're minimizing the opportunity before we even start. Here are just a couple of examples of lies that a lot of people believe. This beautiful woman, she's an artist, and her family and society lied to her. She believed those lies and they cost her big time. She's an artist, and we've all heard the phrase starving artist. You know, the only artist that makes money is a dead artist, right? Wrong. And she has proved them wrong. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a few minutes. Or this guy, Ryan, the media and marketers lied to him. He's a CEO of a company, and he was told, you have to buy this widget, whatever it is. It's an app or a this or a that. And he was buying all of them, and none of them worked until he found the quantum results formula. Or this woman, she went 20 months without making any money. She discovered the quantum results formula, and within 8 days, she made $298 million. What are the lies that you have been told that you're living, or that you've told yourself? What are they, and what are they costing you? I promise it's a lot. And ditching those lies is one of the biggest challenges you might face, because they block you from money and your healthy relationships. They lead to massive stress that destroy your health. But when you ditch those lies, that's when you find real freedom, because they no longer keep you from knowing that the real power to have the life that you want is really within you, because it actually is you. The second big problem in your way is that all of those one-shot wonders you've been sold, they don't work. Like Ryan, the one who bought all the apps and all of the different this and that he was being sold. Those little one-shot wonders, they actually don't work, because your life and your income involve the whole you. They're not just one, it's not just one little problem. Everything is interconnected. So what are the lies that are cutting your happiness and your prosperity into shreds? And what will happen when you uncover and eliminate them? Well, your results, your life will change overnight. Okay, so the first part of the formula is the 4 points of power. What are they? The thing you need to understand is there are 4 points of power, but they all need to be pointed in the same direction. So they come together into a point where you're throwing it at your target, and that point pierces it, energetically pierces it, so you get what you want. So the first step to this point of power, are your thoughts and emotions. And, a lot of us have been taught that your thoughts create your reality. Okay, well, that's true, sort of, but that's really only a tiny piece of the story. Your thoughts and emotions are paired together, and they are the weaker of two pairs. Obviously, you know what your thoughts are. Well, what are your emotions? Those are those traces of energy that loop through your mind when something happens, and usually when something negative happens. So let's think about this. Let's say you're driving down the road and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off and you slam on your brakes and you come within inches of hitting them. What are the thoughts that are going through your mind at that time? And those thoughts start to loop and they create an energy, and you start maybe only in your mind, or you may be expressing it a little bit with your mouth too, but you start to say all of these things about the person who cut you off. It doesn't matter if they deserve it or not. You're saying it. And those emotions that keep going through your mind jack up your energy, and that sends out waves of energy, negative energy. And the way that energy and frequency work is they're like spider webs of energy that go out and attach to things that are similar. So those thoughts and your emotions that are going on, their fear, their anger, their frustration, whatever it is, they go out, and the universe delivers back what you're asking for, even if you don't want it, because the universe doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to send this back because this is negative. It doesn't discriminate in that way. So you send all of this fear and negativity and anger, and you call back to you energetically more opportunities for fear, anger, frustration, all of that. So that's the weaker pair. The next pair are your core beliefs and your feelings. And these reside in your body. So remember, we talked about before you're 7 or up until you're about 8, you're a sponge. You don't discern between what is true and what is not. So let's say your parents are less than loving and they make you feel as though you're unloved. Or let's say in school your classmates are mean and bullying and they say negative things about you. You believe that, you take it into your body, and it creates a core belief. And as you get older, that core belief, unless you've done something to remove it, that core belief is still actually driving the results that you're getting in your life. If you have a core belief that you aren't good enough or you're not deserving, which a lot of people do, it's probably one of the most common core beliefs that inhibits people. That's still driving your life even at 30, 40, 50, 60. And in part because it's so buried in there. You don't want to admit that. You're not walking around, or you're not going to a party and talking to people and they say, how are you? You don't say, oh, well, I don't believe I'm good enough. You're not saying that, because in your head, we've all been taught, to think positively. Oh, it's great. Oh, life's great. You just lost a big sale, but you're not going to tell people that. That can be driven by your core beliefs, and that creates feelings in your body. The energy that you can feel in your gut, like in your solar plexus, you feel that energy there, and you may not even notice that you're feeling it because it's become so common for you, that's where the real fuel on the fire happens that creates what you're getting in your reality. So if you're not happy with your money or your success, the primary cause of it is those core beliefs and your feelings. Okay, so what do you do about that? How do you deal with that? Well, the second part of the formula are the 3 steps. The first is having a passion for yourself. Here's the truth about you, okay? I don't care what anyone has ever told you. I don't care anything you've ever felt. Understand this. Have a passion for yourself because you are. You are source energy. And whether you call it God or source, the universe, Allah, the great spirit, it does not matter. You are that. The bigger part of you, you can't see it. And we're so body focused in our world that we think it's just the body. Well, it's not. The body is the tiniest part of you. The biggest part of you is that source energy. You are powerful. You can do anything. You can have anything if you're using that larger part of you, the biggest part of you, and you're not squashing it with your human self. You deserve everything that you want. Do you know why? Because you exist. You know, everybody says, well, life is a struggle, or if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Nonsense. You were put on this planet. Now listen to this. Maybe make a note. You were put on this planet to have a life that is easy, joyful, abundant, and fun. You were not put on this earth to get up in the morning, go to work, come home at night, eat, maybe self-medicate a little bit with alcohol, food, drugs, Netflix, go to bed, and then get up the next day and do it all over again just so you can pay your bills. That is not why you are here. And the next thing is, you know, I teach this to my students and my clients, and they all hate this in the beginning. Deborah, no, I'm not doing that because it's silly. And then I finally, some of them, after quite a bit of time, get them to actually do it. And you know what they start saying to me? Oh my God, this changes my life. I can really feel that it's changing my life. And that is to profoundly and deeply love yourself. And there's actually a little trick to it that, you know what, I'm not going to tell you today. And you know why? Because if you're like my students, telling you one time is not going to make a difference because you're not going to do it. If you want to know, send me an email. If you care enough to know, send me an email and I will tell you exactly what to do. Okay, the second step is to stop wanting. When you want something, what you're saying is that you don't have it and you're living in the energy of lack. Everything that you want already exists and it's already in your life. You're just not allowing it in. So step into the truth of that. Be very clear about what it is that you do want. And most people are not clear on that. You have to get really super clear. And I'm not talking just about houses and cars. I'm talking about what are the experiences you want to have in your life? How do you want to show up in your life? What's the energy that you want to emit? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel frustration and fear? No, but I'm sure you probably are. Or do you want to feel like life is joyful? It's a constant celebration. Every day of life is a celebration. So put in your order for that. As you walk in, I would say walk in and talk to the cosmic waiter. Like you go into a restaurant, you don't sit down at a table and the waiter comes over and you say, well, I don't want spaghetti. Okay, well, that's fine. There are 50 other items on the menu. What do you want? Well, I know I don't want Brussels sprouts. That's fine. But what do you really want? You have to be really clear about that. I want a life that is easy, joyful, abundant, and fun. And make that command like you would to a waiter. And I'm not talking about being commanding to waiters, but you tell them, I want lobster or steak or whatever it is you want. I want chocolate mousse. It doesn't matter. When you tell source, the universe, what you want, it knows better what to deliver to you. And appreciate it. The universal signature of having your desire fulfilled is appreciation. Say thank you. What if somebody gives you a present, or you give somebody a present and you hand it to them and they look at you and walk away? Are you going to buy them another present? Maybe not. What if you say to source, thank you, even before you receive it? Say thank you, because it's already there. And by your acknowledging that it's already there, you're completely out of resistance. The third thing, and this is a big one, but it may be shocking to you, that is death. You have to allow the old you to die. So I grew up in a home. The whole reason I actually created this formula, I grew up in a home that was very dysfunctional, filled with very significant trauma and abuse. And I didn't know, I was in high school. I didn't know if I was going to stick around. Life sucked so much. I was like, okay, if this is what it's going to be for the next 50, 60, however many years, I'm ready to be done now. And it was only because I started discovering what I'm telling you today that I am still here and I'm living an amazing, great life. But for many years, I lived the life of a victim. I grew up feeling I was a victim, being victimized, and I lived that life. And I had to kill off the victim. The victim had to die because the victim was sending out the frequency. Remember, we talked about sending out those webs of energy. I was sending that out, and the universe was saying, oh, okay, she wants more opportunities to feel victimized. So I would draw that back in. I had to kill off that victim. So who is it that's controlling your life? And be honest, look, it's not your fault. You didn't start all of this, but you do have the power to change it. So what are you living? What are the behaviors you're living right now that are controlling your life? That person needs to die so that you can become the creator of your reality and the creator of your life by being that powerful person that you really are. That person needs space to be born. And then you allow what you want into your life. You open up so that there's room to allow it. And then you say to yourself, you know what, I deserve this and I'm going to receive it. So how do you get to all of this? Well, the third part of the formula are the two questions. And the first question is, what's under that? So let's say there's something happening in your life that you don't like happen, and you know that it's repeating itself. You've seen this before. You've watched this movie before, and you know that you're creating it. So what's under that? And this is something when you first ask yourself, it's going to be superficial. You're going to say one thing and it's going to be, okay, that's a tiny piece of it, but it's not the real thing. So when you get that first answer, the next question you ask is, what's under that? And when you get that answer, you ask, what's under that? And when you get that answer, you ask, what's under that? Until you get to the root of it. It's always superficial at first, and it's always deeply buried. Remember, a lot of these things that are controlling your life right now at 30, 40, 50, even more, they started when you were 7 or under. They may have started when you were a teen, but they started when you were younger, and you've buried them because they're too painful and you don't want to look at them. And the only way that they can continue to hurt you is if you allow them to stay buried. So when things are happening, when things set you off, when you react with more anger than you really know is warranted, or when situations keep happening in your life, what's under that? The next question is, what's the opposite of that? Okay, because you've uncovered all of this anger. Well, you don't want to be walking around with it, right? So what's the opposite of that? You cannot hold, it's physically impossible for you to hold a frequency of anger, a negative energy, and a positive energy at the same time. So let's say you've discovered all of this anger. Well, what do you do with it? You call in its opposite. So what do you do if you can't figure out what its opposite is? I always recommend call in the frequency of joy. All right, Deborah, how the heck do you call in the frequency of joy? All right, the first thing you do is you take a nice breath. Do it with me. Take a nice breath, let it out. Feel your body relax. And you just ask yourself to feel the frequency of joy. Now, if you can't do that immediately, I mean, I've been doing this for so many years that I can do it immediately, but if you can't do it immediately, remember a time in your life when you felt joyful, when you felt a lot of joy. For me, it might be the first time I held my daughter and looked at her beautiful face. I felt that immense joy that took over my entire body. What is it for you? Call that to mind and remember the feeling of that energy in your body. When you do that, you can't hold, it's physically impossible to hold that energy. Why is this important? So when you're out in your world, or let's say you're trying to make a sale in your business or in your job, or one of your employees is trying to make a sale, and you're talking to somebody and you got this smile on your face and you're saying, oh, well, my product is so great and you need to have it, it'll change your life. If you don't feel it, if you're feeling anger, or let's say you're worried about money and you're feeling all of that money stress, you're feeling fear, they will look at your face, but they will feel the fear, and they may not realize what they're feeling, but they will know that they won't trust you. And that will cause them to back away. So if you're not in alignment with what you want to be conveying, that needs to be changed. And this is the easiest way to do it. And you can do this in the middle of a meeting. You don't have to, right now, when we did it, we kind of stopped for a moment, we paused and we did this. You can continue to have a conversation, practice a little bit, maybe not the first time you do it, but practice a little bit. You can continue to have the conversation with someone and be clearing the energy that's in your body. So when you're in the conversation, your face is in alignment with the energy that's in your body, and there's no disconnect, and they won't say to themselves, okay, I don't trust this person. What does all of this lead to? Those real results that change your life. So remember, we talked about the artist who society and her family lied to her about, you have to be a starving artist and only dead artists make money. Well, she made more money in one sale than in all of the previous year within 36 hours of doing a clearing with a quantum success formula. Remember, Ryan, the media and marketers lied to him. You need to buy this app. You need to buy that. I'm going to sell you my one-shot wonder that really isn't going to do anything for you. Well, Ryan discovered the quantum results formula, and he started a new brick and mortar business in a whole new state. He moved from one state to another, opened a new brick and mortar business during a pandemic. At the same time, he doubled his prices and he increased his sales. So twice as much money, 30% more sales. He averages between 36 to 95% revenue growth every month. And to celebrate, he took his wife, rented a private island in Belize with a private chef, and they went and celebrated and had a great time. And remember, Nadia, she felt that she didn't deserve money because she grew up in a wealthy family. She believed one of those lies she told herself, that because she'd never really done anything for it, she didn't deserve to have money. Well, within 8 days of uncovering that core belief and removing that block, that energetic block because of the core belief, all those feelings in her body, within 8 days, she made $298 million. And at the end of 12 months, she actually grew her revenue to $602 million. That $298 million was the first money she had made in 20 months. So what do you think? Is that a good formula? So what produces these results? Well, as I said, it's the quantum results formula. And how it does it, it deletes that false ceiling, that box that you've put around your life, and it helps you claim the wealth, the freedom, the success, and the joy that you deserve. Anything less, and you're not giving yourself a chance. So you want to know the truth? It's easy once you know how to do it. So let me show you how the quantum results formula works. First, there's the foundation. And we've already been through this. It's the 4 points of power, the 3 steps, and the 2 questions. It's cosmic consciousness. It's not having you do all of the work. You do all of the exhausting hard work. It's tossing it to the universe and having the cosmic consciousness do the work. That includes 30 guided processes that pierce the quantum veil, take you out into the quantum field so you can have those conversations. Guided processes are somewhat like meditations, but they actually have a specific purpose. And there are 30 of them in the formula. Also, one of the things that happens in situations, programs like this, or with those one-shot wonders, is they'll say, well, okay, here it is, now go make it work. Well, my experience is that doesn't work. You need help. You need a mentor to help to guide you. So the formula actually includes 6 months of live 90 minutes a week live classes. And clearing your personal #1 block to money and success. Look, we're all different. We all have different experiences and our blocks are different. So you have to clear your personal one, not some generic one. Learning to shift time to move to a place where life is easier. And it also involves understanding how to use both meta and quantum physics. Again, it's not the math, it's practically how do you reach over and flip that switch so that you can let the old you die and you embody the new you so that your life becomes easy, joyful, abundant, and fun. And you're jumping onto a new lifeline. And the key to this is that every step of the way, you have a personal mentor, me, holding your hand all through the process so that you get there and you set your life on fire. So what does this look like? Well, how about 10xing your revenue in 6 months, or having the freedom to have both massively successful business or career and a fabulous life? It's not one or the other. Or growing your corporate revenue by 110% in just 10 months. Having a life where you can walk away from your job or walk away from your business and have a great holiday, a great vacation, explore the world, and know that you can come back and it will still be there. So what if you had the quantum results formula working for you right now? What if you used it in your job or your business or in your life? Maybe to close deals and make sales at the best price possible, or to make the right decisions and solve sticky problems. What if you could teach the quantum results formula to your employees? Or what if you could teach it to your children? I taught this formula to my daughter, and she uses it now to create results that she couldn't even imagine having if she didn't know it. That's what the quantum results formula looks like. That's how it works, step by step. It flows one step to the other. And guess what? It works. It's proven to have worked in 17 countries. Thousands of lives have been transformed. Billions of dollars have been created. So what do you think? Is it a good formula? The quantum results formula is the secret to having the money, the business, the success, frankly, the life that you deserve. Why? Because cosmic consciousness does the heavy lifting for you. So who's it for? Well, it's for you if you're sick of spinning on the money treadmill and you're tired of working to pay bills, you're exhausted from fighting about money, you're embarrassed that you can't give your children the lives they deserve, or you doubt yourself and if you have what it takes. If you keep asking, is this really all there is to life? If you know somehow there's more, but you don't know how to get it, this is it. And today I promised to teach you my proven formula that grows my clients' income by up to 3,000% in as little as 6 months. How'd I do? Okay, so let me ask you a question. At this point, you're probably, freaking out a little bit. Okay, it sounds simple enough and people have done it and had great success, but how do I make it work for me? Well, that's where I step in and give you a hand, because I do want you to have success. I am all about the results, all about the results. So will you give me about 4 minutes so I can show you how I can help you further? And trust me, I'm not going to try to put my hand in your wallet. We're just going to have a quick little 4-minute conversation. That'd be okay? So this may not be for everyone, but if you're going to allow me to do it, I would like to tell you something that's really going to rock your money and your life. So what now? There are 3 big challenges you're going to have moving forward if you decide you want to try to implement this. First is, how many years are you going to fumble around trying to get the quantum results on your own? It took me about 40 years to put this formula together. And how much time and money are you going to waste trying to work it out on your own? And how much longer are you going to let the lies and the fear hold you back? Would you agree that avoiding these challenges might make a pretty big difference to your income, to your entire life, and to your family's life? So something new that I've never offered before is the quantum results formula, the entire masterclass in one phone call. I hold your hand and you have a one-on-one session with me. So here's what transformation could look like for you. Remember the artist? More sales, bigger sales, higher prices, more money. Look in the mirror. This could be you as you're guided into the quantum field to learn the secret to prosperity and success. Or do you remember the woman who didn't make any money for 20 months and within 8 days, she made $298 million? She had more confidence, closed bigger deals, bigger sales, and completely got out of debt? What if that could be you after eliminating your personal blocks to money and success? Does that sound good? So without the quantum results formula, how long would it take you to start creating the money you desire? Start eliminating debt, eliminating money stress, and creating the life that you want so that you have a life of freedom that you actually enjoy. How would you feel if you had the quantum results formula working in your life right now? If you had a formula for doubling or tripling your results, if you were able to Forex or even more your income. Imagine this: no more not knowing what to do, no more trying to figure it out, no more not knowing who to trust, no endless arguments with your spouse, no more disappointing your children, no self-medicating with alcohol, drugs, food, or Netflix, no more feeling bad about yourself, no more self-doubt, no more wondering if this is all there is to life, and no more feeling like you're not good enough. Would you like to have the quantum results formula in your life to help you create more money, have less stress, and more fun? If you would, I'm happy to chat with you and see if I can help you win. There's a pretty good chance that the economy is troubling you. You know, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty that are out there, and they're hurting your brain, and not knowing has you stressed. I promise you, it does not have to be that way. In this phone call, I'll develop your custom plan just for you so that you can achieve what thousands of people around the world have achieved. No debt, more money, true success. If this sounds good to you, I can only take on about 5 students at once. I'll explain to you how it all works and whether I think you can win. If I don't think I can help you, I will tell you that too, because all I really want are your results. I promise I'm not going to pressure you in any way. I don't push anything on you. So who's this for? It's for you if you want a life of freedom, more money, less stress, more fun. If you can say yes to those things, then I'm happy to interview you and see if we're a good fit. So here's what to do next. First, schedule a call by going to quantumresultsformula.com/call. Step 2, afterwards, you're going to see a questionnaire about your life, and it's just a few short questions, but it gives me a chance to get started figuring out what's going to work for you before we speak. So this is what it looks like. Schedule now and fill out the short questionnaire. If all that sounds really good to you, either click the link that you see or go to quantumresultsformula.com/call. And I really look forward to talking with you. And hey, if we never speak, know this: I'm rooting for you and I'm wishing you the greatest success in everything in life. I love you.